I've heard people suggest this. I've read people suggest this. I might argue this, that Messi at this point is bigger than MLS. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. Like everything you just said, Chris, it's about the league mattering. It's about fans embracing it. I don't think you can have that existence if there's a player that is bigger than the rest of the league combined. Where do you stand on that?
I understand what you're saying. I think MLS, it's possible for something to be bigger than it because ultimately there aren't other North American sports leagues where the global perspective on it is so small, right? Like
right.
If you look at, the NFL, the NHL, I mean, obviously the NHL has plenty of global relevance in, markets where players come from, but there is nothing quite like soccer in terms of MLS is just part of this huge ecosystem that lives around the world. Every continent has soccer leagues that they care about their own thing, right? So Lionel Messi touching that all over the world just by it inherently makes that bigger. Major League Soccer is only really kind of dipping into being a really global product because of MLS Season Pass now. They had TV deals all over the world. They're on Sky in the UK and in beIN Sports in the Middle East and all that stuff. But ultimately, Apple is the first entity that's attempting to push them to be global. And so I do think that it's possible. And it's a good thing for MLS that now Lionel Messi has kind of carried them forward. And I don't necessarily think that they have to be ashamed of the fact that Lionel Messi is bigger. This is the biggest sports star in the world. Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain and Argentina are relevant the world over. And Major League Soccer is still just getting to that point. And so I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I do think that if you're looking forward now, Major League Soccer is going to have to become sort of that level of relevant within the local markets that they are in, right? San Diego will be the 30th, but there's cities all over the country where you would hope that Messi can kind of drive a level of coverage, or the league can kind of push itself forward to where now that level of coverage, that level of scrutiny really comes from all 30 markets where you're breaking down. I mean, obviously Toronto FC are in a place right now where I think if it were the Toronto Maple Leafs, they would get all kinds of scrutiny for some of the mistakes that they've made and the results that they've had, considering the amount of money that they've spent. But I just don't think that the league is in that place yet. But ultimately, Messi is here to help push that forward somewhat. I think it's a lot to ask of one person to do that by himself. But everything that happens with soccer in North America is gradual. There are steps. There are abilities to take that next level forward. And ultimately, I think that you have to figure out ways to use Messi to make those happen.